Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SmartSpeak Podcast, where real conversations help you speak real English.
I'm Liam.
And I'm Emma.
So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's learn English together.
Let's get started. Today, we are diving into a truly fascinating topic, Emma. We are talking about the psychology of success. Why do some people reach their goals while others feel completely stuck? That is a question I think about all the time, Liam. Many people believe that success is just about luck or having a lot of money to start with, but it turns out it runs much deeper than that.
Exactly. It starts in the mind. There is a famous researcher from Stanford University named Carol Dweck. She discovered that our belief system shapes everything. She calls it the mindset.
Oh, I love her work. She talks about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, right?
Spot on. A fixed mindset means you believe your intelligence and talents are just traits you are born with. You think you cannot change them. You either have it or you don't.
That sounds so limiting. If you fail a test or make a mistake in English, you just assume you are bad at languages.
Yes, and that is where people give up. But here's the surprising part. Her research showed that talent alone does not guarantee success. In fact, people with immense natural talent often fail because they stop trying when things get difficult.
Wow, that is incredibly eye-opening, Liam. So, if talent isn't the golden ticket, what is?
It is the growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe that abilities can be developed through dedication, hard work, and good strategies. They view mistakes as opportunities to learn.
I suppose it changes how you look at failure. Instead of saying, I am a failure, you say, I haven't learned this yet.
Precisely. That tiny word, yet, is incredibly powerful. It means the story isn't over. It means you are still on the path to mastering the skill.
It reminds me of a student I met recently. She was terrified of speaking English because she thought her accent wasn't perfect. She had a fixed mindset about her pronunciation.
That is so common. Did she manage to change her perspective?
She did. She started focusing on progress instead of perfection. She realized that every mistake was just feedback, not a final judgment on her intelligence.
That is the psychology of success in action. But most people don't realize this. Our brains are actually plastic. Scientists call it neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity? That sounds complicated. But I know it means the brain can physically change and grow when we learn new things, right?
Yes. When you practice something new, like a new English phrase, your brain forms new connections. The more you practice, the stronger those connections become.
That is amazing. So we can literally reshape our brains by changing how we think and practice.
Absolutely. It means no one is stuck with the brain they were born with. You can build a success mindset just like you build a muscle at the gym.
But let's be honest, Liam. Even with a growth mindset, staying motivated is really tough. We all start projects with a lot of enthusiasm, but then the excitement fades.
You are so right, Emma. Motivation is like a spark. It gets the fire started, but it cannot keep the fire burning for a long time. For that, you need something else.
Let me guess. Is it discipline or habits?
It is both, but psychologists also look at a concept called delayed gratification. It is the ability to resist a small reward now to get a much bigger reward later.
Ah, like choosing to study English for 30 minutes tonight instead of watching another episode of a random TV show?
Exactly. There was a famous experiment in the 1960s called the Marshmallow test. Researchers gave children a choice: eat one marshmallow right now or wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows.
I think I would have eaten the marshmallow immediately as a kid. What happened next was unexpected, wasn't it?
It really was. The researchers followed those children for decades. They found that the kids who waited for the second marshmallow grew up to have higher exam scores, better health, and more successful careers.
That is incredible. So, the simple ability to wait and control your impulses is a major predictor of success in life.
Yes, because success requires long-term effort without seeing immediate results. When you learn English, you don't become fluent in one day. You have to trust the process.
That makes complete sense. But how do we actually build that discipline? It is easy to say just wait, but hard to do when you are tired after a long day.
One great strategy is to change your environment. Make the good choices easy and the bad choices difficult. If your phone is right next to you, you will look at it. If it is in another room, you will focus better.
That is a practical takeaway. I always put my phone on silent and place it inside a drawer when I need to write scripts or read a book. It works wonders.
It really does. Another psychological trick is to break big goals into tiny actions. Instead of saying, I will study English for 2 hours today, just say, I will read 1 page.
Because once you start, it is much easier to keep going. The hardest part is often just taking that first step.
Exactly. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Most people wait until they feel motivated to start, but that is a trap.
And this changes everything. If we don't have to wait for inspiration, we are completely in control of our progress.
Spot on, Emma. We control our actions, and our actions shape our identity.
Speaking of identity, I read an interesting study about how successful people talk to themselves. It is called positive self-talk. It sounds a bit cheesy, but the science behind it is solid.
It isn't cheesy at all. The inner dialogue we have dictates our confidence level. If you constantly tell yourself, I am going to mess up this presentation, your brain starts looking for ways to make that true.
It is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your brain wants to prove you right, even if you are saying something negative about yourself.
Yes. Psychologists suggest using instructional self-talk instead of just general praise. Instead of just saying, I am great, say, I will breathe deeply, focus on my main points, and speak clearly.
Oh, I see. That gives your brain a specific plan to follow. It focuses on the action rather than the anxiety.
Exactly. It shifts your focus from your fears to your strategy. But here's the surprising part. Successful people actually experience the same amount of fear and self-doubt as everyone else.
Really? They don't just walk around feeling confident all the time?
Not at all. They feel the fear, but they have a different relationship with it. They don't let fear make their decisions.
That is comforting to hear. It means feeling nervous or anxious doesn't mean you are failing. It just means you are doing something that matters to you.
Absolutely. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is taking action despite feeling afraid.
I think this applies directly to language learning. So many people feel embarrassed when they make a mistake in English. They think it means they aren't smart enough.
But in reality, making mistakes is the only way to become fluent. Every time you use the wrong word and correct it, your brain adapts. You are building those neural pathways we talked about.
It is all about changing our perception of discomfort. Successful people lean into discomfort because they know that is where growth happens.
Exactly. If you only do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will become easier.
That is a powerful quote, Liam. It really makes you rethink your daily choices.
It does. But most people don't realize this. Our brains are wired for comfort. Evolutionarily, our ancestors wanted to save energy and avoid risk to stay alive.
So our natural instinct is to choose the easy option, like sitting on the couch instead of practicing a difficult skill.
Yes, your brain thinks it is protecting you from stress, but in the modern world, that protection keeps you stuck in your comfort zone.
So we have to consciously override our primitive brain if we want to achieve big goals.
Precisely.
And one of the best tools to do that is a clear sense of purpose, often called your why. Why do you want to achieve success? Why do you want to speak fluent English?
If your reason is just to get a better job, it might not be emotional enough to push you through tough times. But if your reason is to provide a wonderful life for my family, or to travel the world freely, it has real emotional weight.
Yes, a strong why gives you fuel when your willpower runs low. It connects your daily effort to a meaningful future.
I remember a story about a famous actor who was completely broke early in his career. He wrote himself a check for $10 million for services rendered and dated it 5 years in the future.
Oh, I know that story. That was Jim Carrey, right?
Yes! He kept that check in his wallet and looked at it every day to remind himself of his purpose and vision.
And what happened next was unexpected. Just before the date on the check arrived, he landed a movie role that paid him exactly $10 million.
That is wild! Now, obviously, just writing a check doesn't magically bring money, but it kept his mind completely focused on his target. He didn't lose sight of his goal.
Exactly. It is about focus and visualization. When you visualize success, your brain prepares your body to take actions that align with that vision.
It is like programming a GPS. If you don't input a specific destination, the car won't know where to go. You will just drive around in circles.
That is a perfect analogy, Emma. You need a clear destination, but you also need to enjoy the daily drive. If you hate the process, you will give up before you arrive.
So, how do we enjoy the process of doing hard things?
By celebrating small wins. Don't wait until you are completely fluent to celebrate. Celebrate when you learn 5 new words today, or when you understand a podcast episode without looking at the transcript.
That keeps the dopamine flowing. Dopamine is the chemical in our brain that makes us feel good when we achieve something, right?
Yes, it is the reward chemical. By celebrating small wins, you train your brain to enjoy the effort itself. You become hooked on making progress.
That is a game changer for anyone trying to master a skill. It shifts your focus from a distant future to the present moment.
And this changes everything. Success stops being a destination you reach someday and becomes a habit you practice every single day.
I love that perspective, Liam. Success is a daily habit. It is built in the quiet moments when no one is watching.
Absolutely. It is the extra 10 minutes of reading, the choice to listen to an English podcast on your commute, the decision to show up even when you don't feel like it.
We have covered so much great psychology today. We talked about the growth mindset, delayed gratification, environmental design, instructional self-talk, and finding your why.
It really shows that success is a science. It isn't a mystery reserved for a lucky few. Anyone can apply these principles to improve their life and their language skills.
If you are listening to this right now, what is one small action you can take today to build your success mindset?
Maybe it is just choosing to reframe a mistake you made today as a lesson, or writing down your why on a piece of paper and keeping it on your desk.
Every massive achievement is just a collection of tiny, smart choices made consistently over time.
Well said, Emma. The journey of 1,000 miles truly begins with a single step.
I always love our conversations, Liam. I feel incredibly inspired to work on my own habits and mindset now.
Me too, Emma. It is always a great reminder that our minds are our most powerful tools. If we look after our thoughts, our actions will follow naturally.
And to our amazing global audience, remember that your English journey is a perfect example of this. Be patient with yourself, embrace the challenges, and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. You are doing a fantastic job just by being here today and investing in your personal growth.
Thank you for joining us today on SmartSpeak Podcast.
If you enjoyed this conversation and learned something new,
don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend.
Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep speaking English.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.